Albaz's little hunt continues in the latest set, Photon Hypernova, a set which introduces loads of great new cards, such as Kashtira Fieldspell, Kashtira XYZ, and Triple-Tastic Thrust. So, other than Kashtira and Triple-Tastic Thrust, what is in Photon Hypernova? There's the brand new TCG exclusive archetype known as Gold Pride. Is it good? Well, it's not bad, but it is no Kashtira or meta deck. Hopefully it'll be fun though. There's finally the Earthship, which is a Pendulum Synchro, and a brand new Labyrinth Trap. Let's not forget about the brand new Bestial, which for some reason is a common. Great news for budget players. And these two spells, one has a fun effect, and one doesn't. I'll let you decide which I think is which. So, let's open some packs. Could an AI become a Yu-Gi-Oh champion? AI is the best at chess and Go and all games which are described as perfect information games, where both players have all knowledge of each other's pieces and possible moves. An AI called Deep Stack was trained to play Texas Hold'em, and it won 10 times as many games as a professional poker player. Ding! So, could a trained AI become a YCS champion? Yu-Gi-Oh! Is another imperfect game where only one player has some of the knowledge, and it's only of their own hand and what they can do. So it's a bit like poker in that respect. However, there's literally over 10,000 cards. 10,000 cards, I say. Let's say only 1,000 of them really get played. Dong. So AI, though it would know what cause does, it wouldn't learn to play around it, because it wouldn't need to. A card that it likely would learn to play around is Nibiru. So would every single one of its decks that it makes have a negate before the 5th summon? Popular YouTuber and streamer Fafa has hosted 2 bot tournaments, and the easiest decks for them were also pretty simple. Ding ding! The bots essentially just could not play a combo deck. Though it is clicking every single button it could, it would not make an end board, which is very impressive. And it could do things like make Nightmare Unicorn and then spin itself back to the extra deck. However, this was a bot, not an AI, and I'm pretty sure an AI would learn to get good. Ka-chow! I reckon a bot would always have a negate before its 5th summon, or it may just try to go a simpler route and win with floodgates. Whatever it did though, it would be hyper consistent, because it literally has all the data of how to win. Oh yeah. Thanks to the nature of Yu-Gi-Oh! A human could still beat the bot. And due to the nature of an AI, it may prepare for cards which aren't really played, because it lost them once. For example, never attacking a light or dark monster in case they've got honest or dark honest in their hand. Or would it do something crazy, like activate the Dogwood Ghost Sister, only to wait a couple turns and draw it out to your board? Would it ever dare play a deck such as Dynamorphia and use its life points as a resource? We all know how powerful Solemn Judgment and Summon Strike are, but would an AI discover that it can use its life points as a resource and still win? This card is Monster Reborn for insects, and it's a continuous spell. So can you do it every turn? I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player, so I can't read, but it's also Creature Swap, but one of the cards involved has to be an insect, but this is for an insect deck. For an AI to actually get good, it would need a lot of data, and luckily we've recently had Master Duel, so it now would have data available to it. The first chessbot was taught strategies used by professional chess players. The second chessbot was just taught the rules, and that second chessbot was the one that went on to be able to beat any human ever. My point being, though this was true for a perfect game, I think with Yu-Gi-Oh, could speed up the process a lot more if we uploaded deck lists to this AI, so it could use those as a starting point. One of the funny things about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is even if an AI was the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, it just wouldn't be. Let me elaborate. So, a tier 0 format with tier elements, your side deck and main deck has only got to beat one deck. How do you do that? Dimension Shifter, Dimensional Barrier, Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds, Just Draw a Bestial. I think you get the point. So an AI which builds the best deck would only be the best deck for one event, and it may not have the best deck for the next event. So a human could still win. This card looks like a Pokemon. If you had a Pokemon team made of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, who would your 6 monsters be? Let me know in the comments below. Got him! Looks like we're coming to mostly duplicates now, which is to be expected, because we're hopefully going to get at least 3 of every common. Holy shit, this card is insane. Search any normal spell or trap if your opponent does something. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a highly interactive game, so your opponent is very likely going to do something. If they don't control a monster, then you've got to set it and you can't activate it this turn, but there's a lot of good traps in the game. And if they do control a monster, for example, they activate a bestial effect, special summoning in it. Well then, they control a monster and they activate effect. You can just search any spell that's a normal spell in the game and use it immediately. Probably going to win the game then, aren't you? Konami, where is the World Legacy TV show and the Fall of Albaz TV show? It's literally an anime waiting to be made. Come on, pull your socks up. Co of Aces is literally a remake of Co of Ace, except it's a monster that you can special summon. Maybe one day in the future there'll be some sort of deck which always has the outcome it wants from a coin cost. I'd also love to see more chance-based cards, such as rolling a dice to perform an action, except every action that you could roll is good, rather than having the downside of destroy your own card. It could literally be something like, if this card is normal summoned, roll a 6-sided die. If the result is 1, 3, or 5, add an insert archetype name monster from your deck to hand. And if the result is 2, 4, 6, add an insert archetype spell trap from your deck to your hand. So, 2 good effects which are reasonable. Dangers could have been done as a rolling dice archetype, where if you roll a 6, the monster is discarded. Don't get me wrong, it's a good job they didn't, because it's very advantageous to discard other cards, and that's very likely to happen. My point being, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has moved on a lot since Snipe Hunter, and rolling dice is an underexplored mechanic. Another underexplored mechanic which I actually really enjoy is the columns mechanic, first made relevant by Mech Knights, and then permanently relevant by Infinite Impermanence. There is no reason not to play around the Imperm column if you are a good player, unless you're bluffing that you have Imperm set in that column. My favourite column card is Iron Dragon Tiananmen Square, where if there are 3 or more cards in the same column, you can quick effect special summon it from your hand, then destroy all other cards in its column, and neither player can use those summons for monsters or spells or traps. Master Rule 5 made this card a lot worse because you can no longer just lock your opponent out of the extra deck by summoning this card. Woohoo! This card has a very interesting effect and name. So you can return all cards in its column to the hand, and then neither player can use the unused columns. So it's a bit like Iron Dragon, playing on square, except a lot worse because it's a trap. Gold Pride is the new TCG LGBT exclusive archetype. You can do stuff by having less life points than your opponent. That link too says you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Then, if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can destroy all cards in its adjacent monster zones and spell and trap zones. What archetype or cards are you after from Photon Hypernova? There's a lot of random support, a couple of Evil Eye cards, a few Bis actors, a whole bunch of Chaos retrains from really old cards for some reason. Not complaining, just a bit random. Quick, that's the end! Go, go, go!
No? Okay.